Texas is kicking our ass in green energy. The average time to get solar panels connected there is 3 to 4 months. About 1,000 days faster than it took me. Remember when I was trying to get my solar hooked up? It would have been quicker to build a windmill. So Texas has passed California in solar and blows away California when it comes to wind and energy storage. How does a state with no pro-climate policies produce better climate results than a state where here, even though we have so much better stickers on our bumper Prius, bumper stickers on our Priuses, you know what I'm saying.
Bill Maher's home state is still facing serious problems, and even though he keeps speaking out loudly against its leaders, he is not backing down at all. California used to be seen as one of the brightest and strongest states in America, but now many critics say bad leadership has slowly damaged it from the inside. And because of that, in his latest episode, Bill Maher went completely hard on the state's leadership, and people are calling it extremely intense and savage. So make sure to smash that subscribe button, because we are diving right into it.
There's a Democrat who's running for governor here in California now who's saying it, San Jose Mayor Matt Mahan. Yeah, because he's at 4% in the polls. Everybody has been calling me lately saying, you gotta have this guy on. He's the sensible Democrat we've been looking for. To which I tell them, 1, this is a national show. It's not all about you and your life in California. 2, how did you get this number? And 3, what's his plan to get the leaf blowers to shut the fuck up in the morning? But also, you're right, he does sound sensible. Because he's at 4%. That's when everybody's brave. If he got to 40%, would he still be saying, as he does say, we need Democratic leaders in California who are willing to say no to their friends?
So Bill Maher is pointing out something very sharp here. He believes that some Democrats only show strong opinions when they feel safe or when they have nothing to lose. He uses Matt Mahan as an example, a Democrat who has recently started speaking out strongly against California's leadership and what he sees as the state slowly falling apart under elite control. On the surface, it may look like bravery, but Maher does not agree with that idea at all. He says Mahan is only speaking so openly because his political position is already weak, sitting at just 4% in the polls. So in Maher's view, when someone has nothing to lose, it is easy to suddenly become bold. But if Mahan were popular and doing well at 40%, Maher believes he would stay quiet and avoid criticism, just like many other politicians who protect their careers instead of speaking freely.
That would be the unions, the bureaucrats, the lawyers, the consultants, the regulators, and all the special interest friends who make living in this state such a frustrating, maddening experience. It's why the railroads don't get built, the potholes don't get filled, the homeless don't get housed, the kids don't learn.
According to Maher, California is not just having small problems. It is being crushed under its own heavy system of rules and bureaucracy. He says the state has created so much red tape that almost nothing important can move forward easily anymore. And he gives a very simple example. Even something like fixing a pothole, which should be quick and simple, turns into a long and complicated process involving inspections, permits, committees, and fees. By the time everything is approved, more money is spent on paperwork than on actually fixing the road. So the road stays broken, and the system keeps growing bigger and slower. That is Maher's main frustration. In his view, a state that was once full of energy and progress is now stuck not because of outside problems, but because of its own broken system that keeps blocking real action.
You know that a black 4th grader in Mississippi is 2.5 times as likely to be proficient in math and reading as one in California? Mississippi is kicking our ass in education, and for way less money. We're 37th in 4th grade reading, they're 9th.
California's education system is also facing serious criticism. Even though the state has been spending more and more money on students for many years, the results are still getting worse instead of better. That means higher spending is not improving learning. While children continue struggling in classrooms, politicians and education leaders keep arguing about basic decisions, like how reading should be taught. Even a simple idea like using one standard reading system has been debated for years without any clear solution. Meanwhile, students are the ones who suffer the most, falling further behind. Critics say this shows a system that is not just failing by accident, but failing in front of everyone while nothing changes.
Texas is kicking our ass in green energy. The average time to get solar panels connected there is 3 to 4 months. About 1,000 days faster than it took me. Remember when I was trying to get my solar hooked up? It would have been quicker to build a windmill.
Here is where things get even more embarrassing for California. Even Texas, which is often seen as a competitor state, is now doing better in green energy progress. California has spent years claiming leadership in clean energy, passing big laws and promoting environmental goals. But critics say those same rules have created so many restrictions that real progress has become slow and expensive. Meanwhile, Texas has moved ahead without all the extra rules and complex systems, simply focusing on results. So even without making big public claims, Texas is reportedly making faster progress in green energy development. For Maher, this becomes a painful example of how too much regulation can actually slow down success instead of helping it.
So Texas has passed California in solar and blows away California when it comes to wind and energy storage. How does a state with no pro-climate policies produce better climate results than a state where here, even though we have so much better stickers on our bumper Prius, bumper stickers on our Priuses, you know what I'm saying.
The situation in California, according to critics, is not just disappointing, it is deeply frustrating. The state is full of laws and policies that are supposed to improve life, but many people say they are not working. Instead of progress, they see more problems. Some argue that political ideology has become more important than actual results. Businesses are also leaving the state because of high taxes, and many are moving to other states where costs are lower and rules are simpler. As companies leave, jobs also disappear, and the state loses part of its tax base. California was once seen as a symbol of opportunity and success, but now critics say it is turning into a warning sign for what happens when leadership does not deliver real results.
Tell you why, because you're allowed to build there. Because every third person in Texas isn't someone whose job it is to make sure nothing gets done. Democrats, these are your issues. Education, race, the environment, and I say this with love. You're losing to the Waffle House car on the lawn states.
Maher places the responsibility for California's problems mainly on one political party, the Democrats, who have controlled the state for many years. He argues that this long-term control makes them fully responsible for both the successes and the failures. California is often promoted as strong in areas like education, environment, and social equality. But critics say even these areas are not performing as expected. Some states like Texas and Mississippi are now showing better results in certain education and energy measures, which critics use as a comparison. For Maher, this proves that simply having good goals is not enough if the results are not there. In his view, California's leadership is failing not only the state, but also the ideas it claims to support.
Axios ran a story on how getting the water out of the hydrants in Pacific Palisades was more complicated than it seems. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it's very complicated. That's why I pay 13% of my income in this state every year to people who I assumed were working on things like this. When asked why so many of the hydrants in the Palisades ran out of water, Governor Newsom said the local folks are trying to figure that out. Yeah, you got to do that before the fire.
Wildfires in California are another major issue that critics bring up. The state has a lot of firefighting equipment, including trucks and helicopters, but problems still continue every year. Maher and others argue that the real issue is not lack of resources, but poor management. For example, fire hydrants are sometimes not properly maintained or filled with water, even though funding exists. This creates a dangerous situation where tools are available, but not fully usable when needed. As a result, fires continue to cause huge damage year after year. Critics say this shows a deeper problem in planning and leadership, not just natural disaster conditions.
You want to pay more taxes to fund this? No. I want you to use the exorbitant taxes you already collect to prioritize it.
Another major criticism is about how California uses its tax money. The state collects very high taxes from both individuals and businesses, bringing in large amounts of revenue. But many people feel that this money is not solving the state's biggest problems effectively. Because of this, some businesses and residents choose to leave and move to other states with lower taxes and fewer restrictions. Even with all this income, issues like infrastructure problems and public safety concerns continue to exist. This creates frustration among taxpayers who expect better results from such high spending. Over time, this gap between money collected and results delivered leads to growing distrust in leadership.
The power lines that cut through Topanga weren't upgraded because it endangered an herb, the milk vetch, which sounds like something they serve at Passover. I mean, talk about not seeing the forest for the trees. You know what the absolute worst thing for the environment is? Wildfires. A 22 study found that the smoke from just the two in 2020 wiped out 18 years of carbon reduction in the state, which means we suffered the pain of driving those early model Priuses for nothing.
In the end, critics say the main problem in California comes down to ideology over practicality. They argue that decisions are often made based on political beliefs, rather than what actually works in real life. Some environmental policies, for example, are said to delay important infrastructure improvements, which can sometimes make problems worse instead of better. Wildfires are often used as an example, where critics say better planning, like underground power lines, could reduce risks, but decisions are delayed. The bigger question being raised is whether current leadership is balancing goals properly or focusing too much on ideology. Until that balance improves, critics believe California will continue facing repeated crises. And with that, the video ends here. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.